Hey y'all, thanks for tuning in. Today's video is all about the questions you get when you tell people that you want to live overseas in retirement. I'm Michael, and I'm retiring to Asia. Let's go. Welcome back. Today I want to spend some time talking with you about the top questions that I get asked when I start to discuss my retirement plans. When you finally make a decision that it's time to go and you start to tell your friends, your family, your coworkers about your plans, everyone gets excited, almost as excited as me. But the number one question I get when I tell people that I want to retire overseas is why? Well, first of all, I hate the cold. So when I made the decision that I was going to retire and retire overseas, I came up with a list of criteria. What do these locations have to have before I would even consider them as a retirement destination? And because I hate the cold, the number one criteria is it's got to be warm all the time. Beyond that, the number two consideration for me was how affordable the destination is. Let's face it, you can retire to lots of different places, but your budget is going to have a significant impact on whether or not you can actually live there in retirement or whether you've got to consider other places. So the number two consideration or criteria on my list was affordable. It's got to be affordable. It's got to be within my budget. And number three, it's got to be beautiful. It's got to be a place that's interesting. It's got to be a place with plenty of travel opportunities. Catch your eye. I love being outdoors, so it's got to be beautiful. So the criteria list is set now. It's got to be warm, it's got to be affordable, and it's got to be beautiful. Could you have all three of those things where you live? Sure. Maybe they're not in your particular area, but they're in another area of the country. I live in Virginia in the United States. It's definitely not always warm here. It's February, it's winter, it's cold here. Other places in the country here in the US, yes, definitely, they're warm all the time. Places like South Florida, places like Southern Arizona, South Texas. You can have a few cold days now and then, but it's not consistently cold. But when you look at the criteria list, are those places affordable? Well, they might be for you, but maybe not for everybody else. For me, they're definitely not. Are they beautiful? Yes. Can you get to places from those destinations that are even more beautiful or places that you would like to visit? Sure you can. But they just don't meet all three of the criteria that I'm looking for. Now, I've always been a big fan of exploring different foods and different cultures and traveling lots of different places. I enjoy getting out in the world and seeing what it's like. I've worked long enough. Now it's my time. It's my time to go away and enjoy life, do the things that I like to do. And I'm going to be able to do that by choosing a location somewhere in Asia that's warm, affordable, and beautiful. Now, on the affordable side, for me, I can't retire in the United States. If I stay here, I've got to work longer. Just simple facts. Just the way the budget works out. Maybe you're in a better position and you're not strapped with that particular circumstance and you can afford to retire anytime, anywhere you want. Hopefully, you're able to do that. I wish you the best. That's just not a reality for me. I can't retire here in the US as early as I plan to now, overseas, simply because of the cost of living. It's much more expensive to live here than it is in any of the destinations that I'm considering. To live in the United States, healthcare costs more, housing costs more, fuel costs more, everything costs more in America. That's just the way it is. So it's not affordable. To be in an affordable destination is what's going to allow me to retire at 59. Not as early as some folks, but it's earlier than I would if I stay here. And let's face it, I've worked long enough. I'm ready to go. Let's go see what we're going to do. On the beautiful side for the criteria, I'm a bit of a photographer. Not a very good videographer, as you're finding out now, but hopefully as we grow and travel together, my videos will get better. So on the beautiful side of the destination criteria, that's just to support me and my hobby and a little bit of side income, which we'll talk about later, passive income or other retirement income opportunities. That's for a different video. But I love travel and I love photography, and the two go together, especially in a beautiful destination. So that's my answer when people ask me why I plan to retire overseas. I want to retire someplace warm. It's got to be more affordable than the US, and it's got to be beautiful. The number 2 question I get is why Asia? I'm a Spanish speaker. I've traveled throughout Central America. Most people would expect me to say I'm going to retire somewhere in the southern US, maybe on the border, or maybe in Central America. But when I think about that list of considerations, that just doesn't work out for me. I've got a list of location considerations that I've developed in my retirement planning, and I've made a lot of decisions already to whittle that list down. We're going to save talking about that list and those locations and why they stayed on the list, why they're not on the list anymore, for another discussion, another video in the future. So stay tuned for that one, and I'll walk you through the process of developing my list to begin with, and how I've whittled it down to the locations that I have so far. Why Asia? Well, because of the temperature. I love warm weather, like I've said before. And yes, Central America can be warm, but it's not necessarily warm all the time. I've found in my research and in the locations that I've started to look at that the climate of Southeast Asia suits my desires and my wishes for a warm and comfortable retirement much better than what I'll find in Central America. From a financial perspective, living in Asia, again, based on the research that I've found, tends to be or appears to be cheaper or less expensive than what I can find in Central America. And when I say that, we have to couple together the quality of living, the quality of the housing that you will find, the quality of the healthcare, the quality of whatever that makes you happy in the area. In my particular circumstances, the qualities that I'm looking for, I think I can find cheaper or less expensive in Asia than I can in Central America or even South America. Next is the landscape, right? So that third criteria of beautiful for the photography that I enjoy and the things that make me happy in my retirement. I want to wake up in the morning and see a beautiful beach. I want to see lush green mountains. I want to enjoy a tropical environment. And got to face it, that's easier to find in Southeast Asia than most of the places in Central America. Now, there's always going to be great places like Costa Rica and Panama where you'll have jungles and oceans, and you've got options. But again, when I look at all of the circumstances for me, this is where I'm headed. Maybe my mind will change. Stick with me and find out. And last but not least is the opportunity to travel to other destinations. What I've found, or one of the reasons that I ruled out destinations in Central America, South America, is the ability to travel inexpensively and experience other countries, other cultures, other destinations. Europe is a great example of being able to get somewhere and then being able to travel to any other place or many other places easily by train or by car, by plane, by ferry. You can get to so many other destinations inexpensively, quickly, and easily in Europe. The same is true for Southeast Asia in the area that I'm looking at. Once you get to your destination, it's easy, it's inexpensive to jump off to other destinations that I want to explore that also meet the same criteria of being warm, being affordable, and being beautiful. So, why Asia? Because it has the climate I want. It is affordable the way that I want. The landscape is beautiful. And it still offers the opportunity to travel to other destinations, experience other cultures, try more food, and do the things that I enjoy. Now, the things that make me happy, the things that I have put together as my criteria list for where I want to live, may not be the same as yours. Stick with me. You may choose a different destination, but I want to make this about the decision making, the planning, and the process so that wherever you end up, you can follow these steps, maybe learn from my mistakes, and enjoy your retirement too. My hope with the channel is that these videos illustrate to you my decision-making process. Now, your decisions, your criteria for what makes you happy may not be the same. You may decide on a different destination. You may like a destination that's cold all the time. Maybe you can afford more. Maybe you can't afford as much. Maybe you don't really care how beautiful it is. There's other criteria that everyone has that makes them happy. The point is, what I'd like to do is take you along as I work through my decisions, work through the process of determining where I'm finally going to go, take you along on some scouting trips, go do some sightseeing and experience these places firsthand, so that no matter where you end up or what you like or desire from a retirement destination, maybe you can follow the same steps, follow along with me, and it'll help you through the decision-making process so you'll figure out where you land. Maybe you just enjoy some good scenery while we're going on the videos together. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.